The air hangs thick and cool at the cave mouth, a stark contrast to the humid August afternoon I'm leaving behind. It smells of damp earth, stone, and something else, something ancient and undisturbed. My breath puffs out in faint mists, even though it's summer. They call this cave the Gullet, though it's not on any official map. I found it through old local legends and some persistent cross-referencing on geology forums. It's perfect, unknown, unexplored, and deep, just the way I like it. My fingers tightened on the worn grips of my trinket poles. Beside me, my pack sits heavy with gear, ropes, carabiners, helmets, lamps, emergency rations, water, first aid kits, and so on and so forth. Everything meticulously checked. Solo caving isn't for the careless. It demands respect, preparation, and a healthy dose of self-reliance and confidence. Some call it reckless, but I call it freedom. Down there, in the cushioning dark, away from the noise and judgment of the surrounding world, I feel most alive. A final check of my primary headlamp, I test a bright, focused beam which cuts into the shadowed maw of the cave. Good! With a secondary clipped right onto my helmet. Satisfied with mostly everything here, I shrug the weight of my backpack onto my shoulders, buckle the straps, and take my first step onto the downward slope rock floor. The transition is immediate. The cacophony of the forest, birdsong, buzzing insects, rustling leaves, vanishes completely and is replaced with a profound, almost vicious silence. The only sounds are my own, the crunch of my boots on loose leaves, the rhythmic click-clack of my poles, and the amplified sound of my own breathing inside the enclosed space. The sunlight fades rapidly behind me, the entrance shrinking to a bright, irrelevant teardrop, then winking out completely entirely. Now, there's only the beam of my lamp and the oppressive, absolute darkness pressing in from all sides. The initial passage is wide enough to walk comfortably, though the ceiling dips low in places, forcing me to duck. Water drips steadily from unseen points above, echoing strangely into the stillness. The sound creates phantom footsteps, whispers just at the edge of hearing. Stranded cave acoustics, I tell myself, but the thought doesn't quite settle the faint prickles of unease starting at the base of my neck. The air grows colder, heavier. The path steepens. Soon, I'm relying more on my poles than before, bracing myself with each downward step. The rock underfoot becomes smoother, slick with moisture and coated in a fine clay-like mud. I switch my lamp to a wider beam, illuminating walls covered in flowstone, formations like frozen waterfalls glistening wetly. It's beautiful, actually, in a stark, subterranean way, but the beauty feels sterile, untouched, and a little bit unwelcoming, if you know what I mean. After maybe an hour of walking, the wide passage constricts. This is expected, of course, as old accounts spoke of tight squeezes here and there. I stash my poles in the pack's side loops, check my helmet is secure, and get down on my belly. The squeeze is tight, the rock cold and unforgiving against my chest and back. I exhale fully to gain precious millimeters, shuffling forward with elbows and toes. My pack scrapes against the ceiling. Claustrophobia is a caver's enemy, but I focus on my breathing, on the small circle of light ahead, on the methodical movement, inch by inch. The rock presses in, a solid, indifferent weight. It feels like I'm being swallowed. Finally, the passage widens just slightly. I wriggle through, gasping, muscles aching from the tension. I pause, catching my breath, and shine my light around just to observe my surroundings and see where I am at this point. I'm in a new section, different from the upper passage, of course. The air here is stiller, deader, quieter, and the smell, the damp earth, it's still present, but it's overlaid with something else. A faint, a musky, almost metallic odor, like old blood, maybe? Or rusty metal left in the damp cellar. Unpleasant, probably mineral deposits, I'm guessing. Iron oxides, reactions with water, it could be anything, honestly, it makes sense. Hopefully not blood, though. I press on, and at this point the cave system descends rapidly now, to the point where these sharp, short drops require careful scrambling, narrow ledges overlooking black pits whose bottoms my beam can't quite reach. I uncoil a length of rope for one particularly tricky 10-meter drop, setting up a quick grapple anchor around a solid-looking column of rock. Testing the anchor, triple-checking my harness and descender, I lean back into the void and begin descending. The descent is smooth, my lamp beam dancing on the rocks facing beside me. Below, darkness, of course. Not the most charming sight. Absolute and complete darkness. The rope slides through the descender with a soft whirling sound, then halfway down my boot dislodges a piece of loose rock. It falls, not with a sharp clatter, but with a strange, soft thump, as if landing on something yielding, something soft. Odd. I'd expect a sharper sound echoing up, but I dismissed it. Cave acoustics are weird. Landing softly on the floor below, I unclip from the rope, pulling it down after me, coiling it. Then I begin to sweep my light around the new chamber, observing where I am. It's vast, easily the size of a small cathedral. The ceiling is lost in darkness far above. But it's the floor that draws my attention. It's not bare rock or mud, it's covered in a thick layer of something? It's like dust, it's sand maybe. No, I think it's finer than that, almost like a powdered bone, but dark gray, almost black and soft. That's what muffled the falling sound, I think, of the rock just before. I take a bit of a hesitant step onto it. My boot sinks slightly, making almost no sound. It feels disturbingly organic underfoot. I crouch, shining my beam closely at it. The dust seems fibrous. I nudged it with the toe of my boot. Beneath the gray powder, there's a sticky, blackish substance. The metallic, coppery smell is stronger here. Much stronger. My unease spikes into genuine nervousness. This isn't a normal cave floor. What the hell is this stuff? I pan my light across the chamber floor, and then I see them. Bones. Not fossilized or ancient relics. These look recent? Relatively, I think. Mostly small animal bones, bats, rodents, maybe a fox even, scattered across the gray dust. Many broken, of course, but then a larger shape. Ribs, like bones, a partial skull, probably, definitely a deer. It got picked clean by something. Disturbingly clean, as if bleached. Okay, deep breaths. Predators use caves, bears, cougars, sometimes den here. Maybe one found its way down here somehow? A long way down though, but I don't know. And this black dust, it covers everything. It's not just on the floor, it's on the floor here as well, it's on the floor here, it's on the wall a little bit here. A tremor runs through me that has nothing to do with the cold anymore. I force myself to move, stepping carefully across the silent, yielding floor. My objective is always deeper, that's the point of being here, but now the drive feels less like exploration and more like a grim compulsion. The air is thick, hard to draw in. The silence is different now too, it's not empty, it feels watchful, expectant. I find the passage leading out to the bone chamber. It's a low archway, almost perfectly circular, which seems oddly unnatural. The rock around is smoother, darker, almost polished in a way. As I approach, the metallic smell intensifies, becoming stronger and stronger, almost sickening me. And there's another sound now, barely audible beneath the ever-present dripping water. A faint, wet, rhythmic click, or maybe a slurp? My hand hovers over the backpack knife strapped to my thigh. Ridiculous. What am I going to do? Stab a geological formation? Fight a bear in the dark? Still, my fingers twitch. Every instinct screams, turn the hell back around. Go back up the rope, squeeze through the tight passage, crawl back up to the distant fading memory of sunlight above. But I don't. The caver's damn curse, the need to know what's around the next corner, what lies deeper. It overrides the fear, or maybe it's just denial. I tell myself it's mineral deposits, water sounds. My imagination runs wild in the dark, it could be anything. I duck through the archway. The clicking sound is louder here, and the smell, oh god, the smell. It's overpowering, rot, metal, and something else, something indescribably foul and alien. The passage slopes down gently. My headlamp beam penetrates the thick darkness ahead. The walls here aren't rock. They look organic, rippled, dark, glistening, wetly, like I'm in the inside of some colossus' throat. The floor is the same sticky black substrate from the chamber. The clicking is very close now. It's accompanied by a gurgle dripping sound or something like the sort. My heart hammers against my ribs like a tapping bird. My hand is calmly inside my glove. I take another step and the soft floor is sucking slightly at my boot. My beam lands on the source of the sound and my world tilts. It's a shape tucked into an alcove just ahead. Hard to define at first. It seems to absorb the light rather than reflect it. It's low to the ground, vaguely slug-like, but massive, easily the size of a small car. From the main mass, several appendages extend. Not legs, not tentacles, more like roots. Thick, black, segmented limbs, ending in thick, slightly sharp-looking points. Some are anchored to the walls, the floors, seeming to merge in with the cave itself, while others are busy. One appendage rhythmically dips into a pool of viscous black liquid, collecting in a depression in the floor, then lifts a thick strand of slime stretched before snapping it back. Slurp. Another appendage is slowly, methodically grinding something against the cave wall. Click, click, click. I angle my light. It's bone. A large femur, probably from the deer I saw before, being scraped and pulverized into this gray dust that coated the chamber above. My breath hitches. I stifle a gasp, clamping a hand over my mouth. This thing, it's making the dust. It's processing the bones. And it knows I'm here. The pulsating rhythm changes now. It slows. A section of the main mass shifts, orienting towards me. There are no eyes, no face, but I feel perceived, scrutinized in a way. An intelligent, ancient, and utterly alien acknowledges my presence. The clicking stops, the slurping stops. The only sound is the frantic drumming of my own blood in my ears and the steady, wet drip somewhere deeper into the passage. Panic, cold and absolute, washes over me. Run! The single thought eclipses everything else. Forget the gear, forget the exploration, just get the hell out. I stumble backwards, turning, my boots sliding on the slick floor. My headlamp beam swings wildly, catching glimpses of the pulsating black mass, the grinning appendage frozen mid-scrape. Behind me, the circular passage feels miles away. A sound tears through the silence, not a roar, not a screech. A wet, tearing sound followed by a low-frequency thrum that vibrates through the rock, through my soles of the boots, into my bones. It's a sound of immense weight shifting, of ancient muscles contracting. I risk a glance back. One of the thick, segmented limbs is detaching itself from the wall. It moves with a slow, deliberate, horrifying grace. It's not fast, but the passage isn't wide. There's nowhere to dodge. I scramble, half running, half crawling back towards the bone chamber. My pack catches on a low overhang, freaking me the hell out. I rip myself free, tearing the fabric. The cathedral-like space of the chamber opens up before me. Freedom? No, just a large prison. The thrumming vibrates. It's coming closer. A heavy, wet, dragging sound echoes from the passage behind me. It's coming. I look up towards the spot where my rope hangs down, 10 meters or so, a lifetime away, I would think. Could I free climb it? My hands are shaking now too badly. My muscles feel like water. I fumble for my backpack light, flicking it on, clipping it to my chest strap, pointing slightly upwards. Maybe if I can just reach the rope. The dragging sound enters the chamber. I spin around, primary headlamp beam finding the source. The thing emerges from the circular passage. It partly flows, partly drags itself, its segmented limbs finding purchase on the bone dust floor. It's larger than I thought, actually. It fills the archway. The smell is unbearable at this point, a physical weight pressing down on me that I can't seem to escape no matter how hard I try. It stops, the main mass rippling. The limb that was scraping the bone lifts, pointing vaguely in my direction. No, I don't think it was pointing. It was extending. It stretches, elongating with a soft, sickening, crunching sound. Dark, viscous fluid drips from its tip. I scream, then slowly back away, tripping over a half-buried ribcage, falling hard on the soft, dusty floor. My primary headlamp flickers, the beam stuttering. The appendage sweeps across the chamber towards me, surprisingly fast now. It moves like a striking snake, but thicker, heavier. I roll, scrambling on my hands and knees, trying to get away. The backup light on my chest casts frantic, jerky shadows. The primary beam on my helmet steadies for a moment, illuminating the rapidly approaching tip. The tip, it looks porous, like diseased bone weeping black ooze. It's disgusting. At this point, there's nowhere to go. The walls are too far, the rope unreachable. The limb strikes. Not with a sharp impact, but with a heavy, wet thud. It hits my leg. Pain, white, hot, and blinding, explodes in my thigh. I hear a sickening crack. Shit, it's my bone. I scream again, thrashing, trying to pull away, but the limb pins me. Its surface is rough, abrasive, tearing at my trousers, my skin. The black ooze seeps into the wound, burning like acid. Another limb detaches from the main mass, slower this time, moving towards my upper body. The main pulsating bulk of the creature drags itself closer across the bone dust, the thrumming vibration intensifying, shaking my very teeth. My primary headlamp flickers again, but this time it dies. I'm plunged into near darkness, except for the weak, bouncing beam of the chest light I have on me illuminating my own flailing hands. The black figure begins to descend towards my chest. I struggle, punching uselessly at the rough, unyielding surface, pinning my legs. The pain is immense, nauseating. The second limb presses down on my ribs. I feel them give in. A sharp, searing agony steals my breath. I gasp, choking, tasting blood and the foul metallic stench of the creature. Pinned, broken, the backup light illuminates the immense, pulsating mass looming over me now. I can see the texture up close, the matted black fibers, the glistening slime, and the embedded shards of ground bone. It's a living engine of decomposition, abomination, born of darkness and decay. A third appendage, smaller, more pointed, extends from the central mass. It probes towards my face, towards my helmet. I try to turn my head, but it's just a futile gesture at this point. The backup light catches the tip. It's not just pointed, it's hollow, like a grotesque needle. It touches my helmet, it scrapes against the plastic, then finds the gap. My face, my eye. There's no sharp pain this time, just a hideous pressure. A thick, viscous intrusion, a wet, sucking sound fills my head, drowning out my own strangling gurgles. My vision whites out on that side, then goes completely dark. Not the cave dark, a final personal darkness. The backup light still glows weakly, pointing upwards, illuminating nothing but the crushing weight descending upon me, the sound of my own bones grinding, the wet, rhythmic slurping that has started up again. Closer, this time, of course. The last sensation is this hideous, invasive probing deep inside my skull. The feeling of being dissolved, consumed maybe, rendered down into the same black, sticky subtract and grey dust as everything else in this godforsaken pit. The light on my chest flickers one last time. Darkness, cold, and silence. And the drip, drip, drip of water far, far away in a world I will never see again.